In a bid to help displaced people in Myanmar, this week, convoys of humanitarian aid departed Masot district in Thailand, bound for Kayin state. They are transporting over 4,000 bags of aid kits for about 20,000 people. The bilateral initiative between Thailand and Myanmar is coordinated by Red Cross societies on both sides and the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance on Disaster Management. Representing the Thai side at the handover ceremony was Sihasak Phuangketkeow, Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of Thailand.
Thailand has lived up to its promise to deliver humanitarian assistance to the internally displaced persons in Myanmar. So according to reports that the Foreign Ministry has received, what kind of assurance have you been given that this assistance was handed over to the people that deserve or people who were intended to be recipients of this assistance?
Well, I think the delivery of the first batch of humanitarian assistance that took place on Monday, 25th, was significant. Significant in the sense that it's the first time that we had a cross-border delivery of humanitarian assistance to those in need. And this is to augment what is being done through Yangon and Naypyidaw. I'm sure that there are those who have expressed concern. We worked with the ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance, AHA, to help us in doing the remote monitoring. So on the day that the humanitarian assistance reached the three villages, we had photographs taken, video clips taken, and so I think this is more or less confirmed that the delivery did take place and it reached all those in need. And also, the KNU who had been critical, I think they've also admitted that it has reached those people in need.
Of course, the humanitarian assistance has been welcomed by most people anyway. But there are still reservations, some skepticisms, both on the part of the military in Naypyidaw and even some of the ethnic groups and the anti-military groups inside Myanmar, because they believe that there was not enough consultation with people concerned, especially the civil societies of the ethnic groups and the anti-government forces on the border. So how do you plan to address these concerns?
Well, first of all, this is a starting point. Everything has to begin somewhere. And it was not easy, to convince the government of Myanmar, the military government, on working with us. But we had to convince them that it's very important in engaging constructively with ASEAN in addressing the concerns of the international community. As you know, we have this 5-point consensus of ASEAN. Basically, it comprised 3 components: reduction and cessation of violence, humanitarian assistance, and dialogue. But all these 3 components cannot be implemented at once. So for us, let's start with humanitarian assistance. At the same time, we also had to address the concern of those, the EAOs, the ethnic armed resistance organization, that, what matters is getting the assistance to the hands of those in need. And so let's set politics and conflict aside for the time being. Let's work on this.
But there definitely will be more consultation with all parties concerned, right?
Yes.
More consultation than the one just happened, right?
Well, again, it's the beginning. Second, it's not a one-off event. It would be meaningless if we do it one time and we don't try to follow up and build upon what we achieve. So we will think about how to expand humanitarian assistance along the border. We will definitely look at ways of working with those who are already doing quite a few things along the border, the NGOs and the civil society, local communities.
Do you have any idea yet as to when the second batch of assistance will happen?
As soon as possible. But as soon as possible means that when everything is in place, right? It's not easy. to do a cross-border operation, given the situation on the other side of the border. So maybe there are various ways of providing humanitarian assistance, and also the assistance can take many forms as well. In addition to the relief supplies that we send, like rice and dry food, maybe health assistance.
Many people see the delivery of the humanitarian assistance to the people inside Myanmar as a signal that Thailand is now ready to play a more active role in helping find a peaceful solution to the crisis in Myanmar. So what do you foresee as the next step beyond providing humanitarian assistance?
Well, Thailand is the country next door. There is a lot of expectation that Thailand should play a more proactive role. But the way we do so is not to go at it alone. We have to play a role, but that role has to be done in such a way that we have the support of ASEAN. We have to work with neighboring countries. We have to work with external partners. I think what is significant is that this is not just about humanitarian assistance. We believe that humanitarian assistance is the starting point for trying to explore the possibility of a dialogue.
But do you see any positive signals that either side is willing to sit down and at least for some kind of dialogue?
To be very frank, not yet.
Not in the near future.
Not yet. But we shouldn't give up. We cannot force them to the negotiating table. And the solution to the problems, the challenges in Myanmar must be resolved by the Myanmar parties themselves if it's going to be sustainable. But we can facilitate.
But can this be seen as a departure from what was known as the quiet diplomacy that was practiced by the previous government? Or quiet diplomacy is still something necessary?
Oh, yes, because sometimes you have to really, you cannot make public statements about what is being discussed until there's a certain degree of agreement. I think you have to do both. Quiet diplomacy, but too quiet is probably not too good because there's a lot of expectation on the public. In a democracy, you also have to, the people also want to know what is being done. Yeah.